Here's the hard truth, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The biggest threat in your love life isn't your ex or even the woman in front of you. It's the tiny excuses you make to protect your feelings. You rename disrespect as cute, normal, no big deal. You tell yourself it's love. But in female psychology, a small cut repeated enough becomes a deep wound. Every time you swallow your standards, you hand over a little more power. And one morning you look in the mirror and can't recognize the man you used to be. That loss isn't abstract, it's permanent risk. Your time, your peace, your pride don't come back on their own. This is a warning, not a bedtime story. Picture it. She tests a boundary, you laugh it off. She hides behind privacy, you call it trust. She dodges commitment, you call it patience. That's how your identity thins out, thread by thread, until you're living on her terms. Your voice gets quieter, your choices get smaller, and your world shrinks to the size of her mood. That isn't romance, it's a slow eviction from your own life. When a man trades respect for access, he doesn't gain love, he loses himself. And once your self-respect is gone, everything else follows. So here's the pivot. If you want your power back, you need a clear map, not warm wishes. In 60 seconds, I'll hand you a simple, predictive checklist. 10 moves that tell you when to walk away before the damage is permanent. It's direct, it's practical, and it will save you years. Hit subscribe now, like this video, and drop your city in the comments so I know where this message is landing. Because men in every city are fighting the same battle. This is your alert. Act now, protect your future, and stop calling warnings love. The setup of betrayal, let's call things by their real names. When she flirts in front of you, it is not harmless, not just her personality, not playful spark to keep things fun. It is a boundary test. It is a live fire check of what you will tolerate and how cheaply your standards can be bought. Female Psychology 101. Attention is a currency. When she spreads it around like confetti, waiter, coworker, random guy walking by, she is announcing a price, and the price is your self-respect. The message underneath the smile is simple. You're not enough to hold my focus. But the first time you excuse it, you stamp approved on your own disrespect. And once you do that, the next round is easier for her and more expensive for you. Flirting is rarely innocent. It is a rehearsal for the next opportunity, a quiet warm-up for actual betrayal, when the timing, the mood, or the drink count lines up. Meanwhile, you bleed out minutes, weeks, months, competing with an invisible crowd she invited into your relationship. That is not love. That is insecurity wearing lipstick, and it steals more than peace. It steals time, energy, and the man you used to be. If you stand there and smile through it, understand you're not her choice. You're her placeholder, holding space while she keeps her options open. A man who knows his worth does not argue with disrespect. He ends the scene and walks out with his dignity intact. The destruction of trust. Now we move from public teasing to private secrecy. Watch the phone. Not because you want to police her, but because patterns speak. If the screen lights up and her shoulders lock, if her voice sharpens when you ask a simple question, if she snatches it back like a passport at a border, that is not privacy, that is secrecy. And secrecy is the enemy of trust. Healthy couples do not live under surveillance, but they do live in daylight. They may have boundaries, but they don't build a fortress to hide basic truth. When her phone becomes a vault, you are meant to wonder what treasures are inside. Messages, old friends, backup plans, or whether the real treasure is the power she holds by keeping you in the dark. Night after night, you lay next to her, trusting her with your peace and your future while she cannot trust you with the call log. That math never adds up. The difference between privacy and secrecy is one word: walls. Privacy closes the door for a shower. Secrecy bricks the door shut and pretends the room doesn't exist. Those walls are not built to protect love, they are built to hide lies. If every conversation about transparency turns into a fight where you're labeled controlling or insecure, understand the frame is being flipped on you to protect the wall. You cannot build intimacy on suspicion. If her phone feels like a locked safe you're never supposed to touch, you are not in a relationship. You are in the waiting room of betrayal. And the longer you sit there, the more you pay first with confusion, then with sleep, then with your dignity. Time is the bill that always comes due. Men lose years in that waiting room, telling themselves they are being respectful while slowly starving on the other side of a password. A man who knows his worth does not negotiate with a wall. He refuses to live outside his own life. The value declaration. Now to the third test, the softest knife. The refusal to define the relationship. Months pass. You're good enough for late nights, for favors, for comfort, for plans that never make it to photos or family, but somehow not good enough for a simple title. Let's not rush. Labels are outdated. I just need space. Translation. She wants your benefits without your presence becoming real. This is not shyness, not timing, not some rare philosophy about love beyond names. It is stalling. It is keeping doors unlocked. It is the cleanest way to keep you close enough to feed her needs and far enough to avoid responsibility. When a woman wants you, she claims you. She does not hide you in private and post self-care in public. She introduces you. She uses words that match her actions. If she hesitates for 3 months, she has answered you without speaking. You are not her partner. You are her temporary option. And temporary options pay in small cuts. Canceled plans, vague answers, sudden silences when friends appear. Endless we'll see. Each cut looks tiny by itself. Together, they drain you. You will watch your standards drop as you wait for breadcrumbs of recognition, as you try to be more understanding, more patient, more impressive. But understand your time is the most expensive thing on the table, and you are spending it on a strategy that cannot win. You cannot earn a name from someone who benefits by keeping you nameless. Call the pattern what it is and decide if your future is worth more than her comfort. Here is the logic you can hold in your hand. Flirting in your face is a boundary test. Secrecy behind a screen is a wall, because secrecy is the enemy of trust, and that wall places you in the waiting room of betrayal. Stalling on a label turns you into a placeholder, a temporary option kept warm for convenience. Each pattern costs the same currency: your time, your energy, your dignity. The longer you tolerate, the more expensive the lesson becomes. And this is not about hating women. It is about loving the man you are supposed to protect. Say it plainly so your mind can act. When attention is scattered to strangers, respect is missing. When the phone is a vault, truth is missing. When the title never arrives, commitment is missing. Missing pieces don't build a home, they build confusion. If you feel your stomach drop hearing this, good. That pull is your internal alarm telling you the bill is due. Do not silence it with another excuse. Do not wait for a holiday, for the next talk, for a better version of the same behavior. A man who knows his worth does not beg for focus, does not live outside a wall, does not wait forever to be chosen. He sets his standard once, states it simply, and lets actions tell the story. You are not running out of women, you are running out of time. Choose the future where your respect comes first. Choose the next hour over the next excuse. Walk now while your spine still remembers how it feels to stand straight. Protect your energy like you protect your name. Guard your dignity like you guard your home. And if anyone asks why you left, you can answer without anger. I don't audition for people who test my boundaries, hide behind walls, or keep me as a placeholder. I am not a temporary option. I am a man who knows his worth. Listen closely, because I'm gonna speak to you like a man who respects your time more than your excuses. If you feel empty after every visit, if your effort never seems to land, if your chest tightens when she cancels last minute again, Your body already knows what your mind keeps denying. You're in a transaction. Not a partnership, not a bond, not love. A transaction. In female psychology, attention and effort are the currency. When only one side pays, the other side profits. She gets comfort, rides, dinners, favors, reassurance, status, a steady shoulder to lean on. While you bleed time, energy, maybe even your resources, for a promise that never shows up. That's why your weekends feel long and your nights feel short. You keep pouring in, hoping the machine will finally drop something back, and it never does. Love isn't a vending machine. You can't feed it patience, kindness, and loyalty and expect a prize to fall. When the scale never tilts toward you, it's not a glitch, it's the design. She shows up when it's easy, vanishes when it's hard, and you're left negotiating with silence. Call it what it is. She's consuming you, not choosing you. Consuming you, and the more you invest, the deeper you sink into a bottomless pit that has only one appetite, more of you. Now, let's talk about trust, because this is where the bill gets itemized. You think broken plans are small things. You tell yourself everyone gets busy. You nod, you smile, you swallow the sting, and you call it mature. But maturity without memory is self-destruction. She says, I'll call you, and the call never comes. She says, I'll be there, and there is a chair with your name on it and an empty seat where she should be. She says, I'll take care of it, and somehow you end up cleaning the mess. Once is life, twice is a clue, 3 times is a ledger. Hear me clearly. Broken promises are not accidents. They're patterns. Patterns tell you priorities, and the message written in those blanks is brutal and simple. Your time and your trust don't matter. If the small commitments can't be honored, the big ones were never real. That vague ache you feel after each letdown has a name: resentment. Resentment is interest on a debt unpaid. It compounds daily. It eats sleep first, then joy, then confidence. And while you try to be understanding, while you rewrite your standards to avoid conflict, the cost keeps rising. Respect is not what she says when she feels good. Respect is whether her actions match her words when it counts. Consistency is the foundation of trust. Inconsistency is the blueprint of chaos. Stop grading on intention. Start grading on delivery. And then there's time, your rarest asset, how she spends it, how she withholds it, how she trains you to accept crumbs and call them dinner. Weeks pass and you're always waiting, always adapting, always trying to squeeze yourself into the leftover corners of her time. You plan around her schedule, she plans around her mood. You offer days, she offers moments. You're told it's just stress, just work, just family, just life, and you nod because you're a reasonable man. But be more than reasonable, be honest. People always make time for what they care about, period. When a woman truly values you, she carves space, even when it hurts, even when life is loud. If she doesn't, the answer is already on the table. You're not her priority. You are convenient. You are the when I feel like it option. You are the soft place to land after the fun is over. The face she calls when the lights come back on. And I want this etched into your bones. Don't confuse her excuses for effort. A text at midnight is an effort. A last minute maybe is an effort. A story about how hard her day was is an effort if it keeps arriving hand in hand with your disappointment. The truth is colder and cleaner. A backup plan is never love. It's slow destruction. Look at the numbers. Add the hours you've waited, the plans you've changed, the favors you've given, the second chances you handed out like candy to a person with a sweet tooth for your patience. What did you receive that you can hold? What did she build that stands on its own without your push? If the answer makes your stomach drop, trust that feeling. It's your soul checking the balance sheet. A relationship cannot be funded by one person forever. It turns a man generous into a man exhausted, and an exhausted man into a silent man, and a silent man into a ghost in his own life. You didn't sign up to be a life raft for someone who never plans to swim. You didn't sign up to bankroll a lifestyle of attention where your heart is the only account getting overdrafted. This is not noble. It is not romantic. It is not patient. It is simply expensive. And yet, here is the mercy inside the anger. The pattern is predictable, which means the solution is too. A strong man recognizes when the scales are unbalanced. He stops arguing with the math. He stops paying the invoice for a service he never received. He sets a standard once, says it plainly, and then measures the room by who meets it without drama. Not because he hates her, but because he loves the man he must protect. He knows that the longer he stays, the more of himself he spends, and the return never improves. He understands that the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And indifference shows up dressed as casual plans, flexible promises, and a calendar where he exists only in the margins. He knows that every "it's okay" he gives away without change is permission for the same week to repeat. So listen, if your reality matches these words, you don't need another month to make sure. You don't need a perfect speech. You don't need to gather proof. You need to remember who you are and what your time is worth. Stand up from the bargaining table. Walk out of the revolving door. Take your attention back from the slot machine that only pays in apologies. You are not a spare tire to be kept in the trunk for emergencies. You are not a donation box where feelings get dropped off and never picked up. You are a man with a future, and your future cannot afford this burn rate. Close the tab. Put your phone down. Breathe. Then move. Walk away with your dignity intact. Because the day you stop financing your own neglect is the day you become solvent again. In peace, in pride, in power. And if anyone asks why you left, say it without heat and without regret. I left because I was in a transaction, because she was consuming me, because broken promises are not accidents, they're patterns. Because my life is too big to live in the leftover corners of her time. Because I will not confuse her excuses for effort. And because a backup plan is never love, it's slow destruction. Here's where the mask slips and the real game shows. When she runs on double standards, it isn't about fairness, it's about control. She keeps her freedom, but polices yours. She demands your transparency, but guards her own. She goes where she wants, when she wants, then scolds you for making plans without her. That is not a misunderstanding, it's a structure, a ladder she climbs while you hold it steady. In that structure, there's a clear hierarchy, and you are not beside her. You are the servant, expected to comply, to explain, to report, to apologize, to take the blame to keep the peace. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself it will balance out, but it won't. This is an order of power, not a loving partnership. The longer you live under it, the smaller you feel, and the easier you are to move. And that is the point. Make you small enough to manage, because once you accept the hierarchy, every other cut lands deeper and bleeds longer. Watch how she speaks to you when the room is loud and the jokes are easy. The digs come wrapped as fun, the sneers as just teasing, the eye rolls as lighten up. That isn't love, it's power disguised as humor. The first time, you laugh along to be easy. The second time, you flinch and swallow it. By the 10th time, you rehearse your smile because the sting is now a routine. That routine is emotional erosion, a slow demolition of your spirit. It chips at the foundation of your self-worth until you start second-guessing your every choice, doubting your value, questioning your identity, and mistaking her approval for oxygen. She becomes the critic you wake up to, the judge you carry in your head, the running commentary that turns even your wins into not enough. And while that's happening in public, a second front opens in private. She begins isolating you, subtle at first, then steady. Your friends are a bad influence. Your family is toxic. Every invitation is met with a reason to skip. Every connection becomes a conflict. Understand the aim. Cut you away from your foundation, from the people who knew you before this war started, from the voices that would say, he's not himself. This isn't preference, it's manipulation. The fewer outside eyes on the situation, the easier it is to shape your reality, to gain more control over what you think, what you feel, where you go, who you trust. The isolation tells you you're chosen. The truth is you're being cornered. And then comes the airstrike. Gaslighting. This is the climax. Because it doesn't just bruise your heart, it targets your mind. You raise a clear issue. Somehow you become the problem. She forgets something important. You are blamed for not reminding her. She crosses a boundary. You apologize for overreacting. She explodes. You are accused of pushing her buttons. This is not clumsy communication. It is psychological warfare. Precision strikes aimed at your memory, your judgment, your sanity. The intent is cruel and simple. Make you doubt what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, until you can be told what to believe. The more you accept it, the more you carry the weight that isn't yours. And once you accept that weight, she no longer has to lift anything. A man living under this kind of manipulation will lose his confidence, his peace, and eventually his identity. He will feel himself shrinking into a version that says sorry before he speaks, that pre-edits his thoughts, that scans for the safest answer rather than the true one. He will wake with a knot in his stomach and go to sleep bargaining with himself. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I remembered it wrong. If you hear that voice growing in your head, understand, she will drain your spirit until you barely recognize yourself. That's not an argument. That's the mission. Gain more control. Drain your spirit. Leave you hollow enough to shape. So let the anger rise, because anger is an honest compass when you've been walking circles in fog. Rage at the double standards that made you a servant in your own house. Rage at the jokes that broke you by inches while you smiled for the crowd. Rage at the isolation that cut you from your support so the story could be rewritten without witnesses. Rage at the gaslighting that repainted your memories and rented out your mind. Feel the fear too, the deep, shaking fear that if you keep living like this, you will doubt your own sanity and watch your name slide off your life. That fear is not weakness. It's a fire alarm in a burning building. And then move. Don't explain it away. Don't rationalize it. Don't wait for a perfect moment or a cleaner proof. This is not a homework problem, it's a rescue. Pick up your pride from the floor. Gather your voice from the corners. Choose the door while you still remember where it is. When you leave a system built on control, you don't owe the system a speech. You owe yourself a future. Say it plain so your mind can hold it. I refuse double standards. I reject the hierarchy that keeps me a servant. I will not live through a slow demolition of my spirit. I will not accept gaslighting as love or psychological warfare as passion. I would rather stand alone with my truth than lie beside someone who drains me. And if anyone asks why, answer without heat or apology. I left to save the only thing I cannot replace, myself. Because a man can rebuild money, routines, even circles of friends. But once he trades away his mind and his soul, the bill never stops coming. Leave. Save your sanity. Guard your identity. Walk out with your head high and your backbone steady. No relationship is worth your soul. Listen to me and hear it like a bell in a quiet room. What you've seen tonight are not quirks, not cute mistakes, not rough patches. They are patterns of behavior. Flirting in your face, guarding the phone, stalling on commitment, turning care into a transaction, breaking promises until your trust feels cheap, pushing you to the leftover corners of her time, living by double standards, cutting you down with jokes, isolating you from your foundation, and finally twisting your memory with gaslighting. These are patterns, not accidents. And patterns predict outcomes. The longer you excuse them, the more of yourself you spend, and what you spend doesn't come back. This is the harsh truth. Love doesn't fix manipulation. Love doesn't wash away disrespect. Love cannot breathe where trust has been strangled. If you keep betting on potential, you will lose more than minutes. You will lose self-respect, peace of mind, and piece by piece, the will to keep fighting. So let's close the door on the last excuses. Maybe it will get better? No. If it were going to, you would have seen consistency by now. Maybe I'm afraid to start over. Starting over is not the risk, staying stuck is. Starting over is a cost. Staying stuck is a debt with compound interest on your soul. I am here to give you a stronger definition of power. Walking away is strength. Walking away is choosing yourself over chaos. Walking away is not quitting. It is refusing to live small so someone else can live large. It is deciding to stand tall instead of shrinking smaller every day. It is saying with your actions that a man of value doesn't settle for scraps, doesn't beg for attention, doesn't accept being someone's afterthought. A man of value guards his name, his time, his future. He sets a standard and lets actions sort the room. He knows respect is the foundation, and without that foundation, nothing stands. Not romance, not intimacy, not tomorrow. I want you to picture the life waiting on the other side of one hard choice. Mornings without knots in your stomach, nights that don't end in bargaining, friendships restored, purpose back in your chest like steady thunder. Real love does not demand your silence or feed on your confusion. Real love will build you up, not break you down. It will add to your life, not strip it away. It will stand beside you, not against you. Choose that. Choose the road that leads you back to yourself. Choose the hour you take your power home. And if your voice starts to tremble, let mine hold steady for you. No relationship is worth your soul. If you recognize yourself in these signs, don't rationalize it, don't excuse it, leave. Not angrily, not dramatically, decisively. Walk out with your head high and your spine straight. Walk toward quiet, toward clarity, toward a love that makes you stronger, never weaker. Then do two things. First, act for yourself. End the pattern, reclaim your peace, and write a future where you lead your life instead of defending it. Second, act for your brothers. Share your experience in the comments. Some man in some city is one story away from waking up. Let your story be the hand on his shoulder. And if this message hit home, subscribe for more hard truths. Because the world will hand you fairy tales while it eats your time. I will hand you the map back to your dignity. Remember what we said and say it until it lives in your bones. Love doesn't fix manipulation. A man of value doesn't settle for scraps. Walking away is strength. It's choosing yourself over chaos. It's the moment you decide to stand tall instead of shrinking smaller. And it's the first step toward the love that makes you stronger, never weaker.